Good morning, and I we'll note that you're acting Prime Minister with us today, Mr. Peters, so it's wonderful to have you here, though, in your capacity as Minister for Racing. We only have 15 minutes, and so you are very welcome to make some brief introductory comments, but I do note that the committee has questions in those very brief 15 minutes, so it's over to you to make some introductory remarks if you wish, and then we'll open up questions.
All right. First of all, can I, members, say on my right is Claire Allison from the Department of Internal Affairs, the Director of Regulation and Policy, and Paul James on my right from the same department as the Chief Executive. I could give you quite a long speech and waste the 15 minutes. But the Minister for Racing is entrusted with a portfolio that supports an industry which makes such an important contribution to New Zealand society and economy, and has the capacity to be doing far better than it's doing, but it lacks certain fundamental changes, despite the enormous effort that's been made in recent times with the Masara report. Further rationalisation and some common sense decision-making needs to happen, and we've got to lift our sights for the potential, not just here, but offshore. There's enormous opportunity coming offshore, and we have to get ready when the market opens up, as it is opening up, and not wait around and discover it after everybody else that sells horses discovers it as well. So that's my abbreviated version or summation of the interview. For if you had 2 hours, I'd given you a longer speech. 15 minutes about it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
We've got questions. Okay, Steve, and then.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Minister, I wanted to ask you questions about greyhound racing, please.
Why did I think you'd be doing that?
There have been multiple reports on the harms to animals in the sector, and the industry was put on notice. And since then, 272 broken bones and 26 deaths. I wonder, is there a time when you will act to prohibit the industry, given the harm caused to animals and the fact that it has a very low level of social licence? It does not have social licence. The SPCA poll found 74% of New Zealanders think it should be banned.
Well, first of all, I inherited this portfolio, and that was one of the 3 wings or arms of the industry. So if that is the view, then I've got to ask myself the question, how come I inherited the dog racing industry if everybody here was so concerned and they were galvanised to action? That's my first challenge. My second one is, from the time of the Hansen report, we have watched it very, very seriously. And we are at the moment being constantly updated because we want to ensure that the industry is safe, but not make a precipitate decision which finds us and the taxpayer in court. So it's a very delicate situation, make no bones about it. We are concerned for animal safety, and we want to ensure that it's got, because of the way it is handled, enormous integrity. There are over 3,000 dogs, and what would you do if you were to stop it tomorrow? The next question is, you're going to go and kill them all, or you're going to have plans to see them being home somewhere else? It's a big issue, and I'm not going to make a decision before we get all the facts. And we won't neglect our responsibility. Now, just one thing. Dogs love racing. Watch them in the wild, just like horses. 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody's quiet, and they're out there having a race in the paddock. So before we rush off, there's certain instinctive things that animals like, and one of them they'll do whether you're going to organise the race or not. Go and watch them.
Can I just actually quick step on that? Do you have a time frame, around when you're going to be making any decisions or making further comments on that for the industry?
Well, I don't want to be precipitate, Madam Chair, but basically it was at the time we got this portfolio, money for the umpteenth time, to make a decision this year. But please don't bind us to that, because you've got to get the details and the facts. There's a lot of work around whatever decision we make, but, I share your concern. Any aspect of animal cruelty, I'm utterly opposed to.
Okay, because I've got limited time, we'll come to Tangi, and then I think there was a primary from Tom. Yep, and then maybe Tim.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. Thank you, Minister. My question is around the integrity system within racing, and we all know that that's really important for public confidence for the industry, and really is vital to the long-term success of the industry as well. How well do you think the industry is currently positioned to deal with things like misconduct, which one might think can be quite a big issue in terms of rocking public confidence, and whether you think there's any opportunities to strengthen integrity? I know the RIB has been a new initiative that's sort of had a little bit of longevity, but just really interested in the confidence in that space.
It's been my observation that there are three things: fishing, boxing, and racing that have a whiff of danger about them, that sometimes things may not be what they should be. Now, we all know that. Our job is to ensure we've got officials who are on red alert to what can happen so that the industry is not contaminated and that people are just cheated out of their incomes. So how important is it? It's very important. It's very important that we've got people who are enormously vigilant to ensure that cheating doesn't happen, because the temptation is sometimes so great that it does happen. Do you remember, have you ever seen the story about a horse called Fine Cotton? Fine Cotton was a horse running in Australia where they put the wrong horse up. And one of our relations was the trainer. But they discovered that the horse, having won and done an enormous job in terms of people making all this money off the TAB, it was the wrong horse. They had painted the hoofs to make it have two white hoofs. And they discovered that horse didn't have white hoofs, it was just black, but it had paint on it. It was very funny. And I can't remember the guy's name, the Maori guy's name was the trainer, but that sort of thing's been going on for, they were attempting for it to go on. Our job is to ensure they've got the surveillance and scrutiny to ensure that the honest people in the industry get a fair go.
And that extends to misconduct, because there can be misconduct that's behaviour that's not cheating, but the way in which industry participants treat each other.
Yes.
Same deal?
Same deal. You know what it's like. You think that people talk about collegiality, but sometimes the competition can be pretty fierce. And then it needs to be sort of stamped out on the basis that, if we catch you and you're gone.
Tom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Minister, are the current settings for the offshore betting charges regime fit for purpose, in your opinion?
A marvellous question that is. I inherited a set of circumstances that was put together by the previous government. And to tell you the truth, it's only of late that I've actually seen the contract that did that. Now, without rushing to judgment, that contract needs a serious examination. Because if you were in a business transaction downtown with a huge property sale, then you might not find that the contract had the protections for you as a buyer that you expected. Because I've asked questions and I'm not getting the answers. And I'll keep on doing until I do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll go to Tangi then, Tim. Yep.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Just can I change tack a bit in terms of longevity within the industry? There's so many participants that I think a lot of people in New Zealand perhaps don't realise the extent and broad nature of industry participants. What is your view on having a focus to ensure that there are clear pathways into the industry, so that longevity within the industry is actually something that has got a bit of heart around it?
It's quite complicated because we're at an inflection point for racing. There's opportunities which haven't been taken up. Compare this industry to, say, a country the same size, Ireland. Ireland's doing about 3 times as good as us. What's wrong with us? We used to be here. We used to be right up there one time. And then we had a long period of time where the industry got seriously gutted. Casinos were being charged 4% tax. They were being charged 20% tax. What can be possibly fair about that? And a lot of things that are still wrong. For example, why are they taxed different to me going down and buying a stud ram or a stud bull at a sale? Why should there be the same taxation regime? So all those things are required now. But it's our aim, without being a dreamer, to set out to treble the size of this industry, particularly offshore. We were in Malaysia, and Malaysia's got 3 courses. One of them is a Selangor race course. And one look at that, you think, what's wrong with New Zealand? They have got, because Singapore's been shut down, we've got a chance to really step up there, make no bones about it. as we have in Henan province in East China, when the racing is coming, and we have got to get ready. But we slowly start trying to find the mares to breed foals when the market opens up. You've got to have the market ready now. So that's what our plan is, to try and rapidly grow the industry while ensuring that the safety measures and the protections for both the animal and the people of interest in it are fully in place. But you'll always get, like in fishing and boxing, the risk takers.
We'll get there, Tim, but Cameron has just got to start.
Oh, sorry, Cameron.
Yeah.
Minister, just following up from the longevity question, I think we've got about 52 race courses across the country. What's, in your view, what's the future of them? Are we going to see some natural attrition and rationalisation this coming decade? What's your vision for those smaller courses?
There's got to be rationalisation. It was under the Massar report designed that every province would have a race course, and not to shut down any province from having that utility, because from there that those fans will collect, who might one day move to other parts of the country, but you're still starting the fan base in the same way that rugby does, in the same way league was trying to do it now. So there are too many race courses, but you will find in this industry, nothing's so difficult. You go to the ends of the earth, you get the brilliant guy like Massaro who comes in, he's a worldwide expert, and then somebody down at the sale yards is scratching his backside thinks he knows better. That's the problem with racing, right?
Thank you.
Tim.
Yeah, so I come from the Otaki electorate, great little racing industry there, but I'm really keen on behalf of some of those people to ask about, you spoke earlier about some of the sort of the untapped potential, can't remember the exact phrase you used, in the industry and the opportunities for growth that maybe we haven't leveraged. I'm really keen to hear what you're thinking there. And in particular, I think you talked about maybe bloodstock or breeding. I'd really be interested to hear what potential you think we have there to grow.
When you're talking about Otaki now, one of the famous and oldest courses in this country is Otaki Maori.
That's right.
And I would think that the Maori Corporation should have been collecting up and get alongside us and make a decent prize there on their number one race day. They should be racing for $400,000 or $500,000. That's how you get back into space here. And get Wellington to get off their backside and come and see you that day at the Otaki races. We've got to start thinking big here, but we're not. Second thing is, we say opportunity. Well, our truthful base for the industry is that we grow the best grass in the world for animals, for horses. They'll run fast and they'll live longer. That's proven by the fact that with all the downside of a depressed industry in a way during COVID and after that, we're still going to Australia and winning these darn races one after the other. That's incredible. Second thing is, you've got a lot of young people out there and they don't care what you think. They just love to work with horses. They'll work for actually almost for peanuts to be with horses. So we should be maximising our connection there and turning it into a really successful export industry and one that domestically seriously makes money as well. Mind you, if we did that to all our other industries, this country would be back on its feet again, wouldn't it?
One more question from Steve Abel. And
I'm just going to quickly bring it back to the Greyhounds, Minister, if you permit me. If there were sufficient strategies, and a number of welfare groups have outlined strategies for rehousing all of those 3,000 dogs, where they will be able to run free of their own volition without the risk of being drugged or forced to run or harmed or killed, would that satisfy you? And given we've had 4 reports in the last decade that have said there are major issues, isn't it time for us to have a decisive minister like yourself to take action and bring this industry to its rightful end in a way that looks after the animals and takes care that there's a just transition for those employed by the industry too?
So where were you in 2021, 22, 23?
Not in government.
Oh, no, that cannot be an excuse. Were you right to the minister at the time? Were you all over McNulty telling him to do this, that and everything?
You're the minister
Can you
now.
show me the letters you wrote to him?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Oh, you can?
I can.
Well, please do.
Yeah.
Now.
Yes, green paper.
Yeah, the second thing is, as I said, we take this issue seriously. I remember the Hanson report with great clarity, and we have been monitoring carefully. As you remember, there was a spike recently, and we're monitoring on a weekly basis now. We're yet to make a decision. I should not say what that is until we've made it, because there could be legal issues, and it'd be very unwise to rope the taxpayer into a cost here because one's been careless. Now, on this, decided, should we make a decision that it will not go ahead? And our job is to do what surely people who believe they love dogs would want. The dog doesn't get put down because you made a political decision. That would be the worst type of outcome. That's rather being said that more serious than getting killed, than getting an injury at the races. Now they're not even alive at all. And you're talking to the minister that actually brought in the care for a dog regime many years ago, but for greyhounds, and took them also into prisons for prisoners to change their lives by looking after a dog. So we've got enormous opportunity here. I mean, I don't want to over-excite you with the romance and glamour of doing things right, but that's our purpose, okay?
We have come to the end of our time. Thank you very much, Minister, and I think the committee will note that maybe we might need a little bit more time next time, but thank you very much for engaging with the committee this morning. And,
Thank you.
Best wish for the rest of the day. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Does that conclude having us?
Welcome.
Thank you.